live stream. Just allow the internet to warm up a little gerbil on a little wheel there a minute. Right, I got the door open. Let's turn that light just down a little. Blinded quite so much. Yeah, it looks reasonable. So I'm going to try and throw my voice a little bit for anybody just joining in, because as yet I can't get the microphones to work unless I've got an app running. So everybody joins along. I'm going to be using some Lexol and just running through how I do the final stages of a handmade leather sheath. Here we go. This is the gav. So we've got the leather tool in there. What I'm going to do initially is just give that a coat of Resolene, let it dry off, and then as that's drying I'll get working on that. So here we go. What we got here, got some Resolene, and this is it's an acrylic final coat. So a moderate sized brush, something about that big. Oh, we got two here. Just doubled me live stream total. It's pretty impressive, isn't it? Okay, so let's put the juggle strap just to one side. So that has had a resist on it already in order that I can give it a little bit of extra colour to bring out the acorns. So now it's getting a coat of Resolene. I don't want to do Resolene over the whole sheath because then you can't feed the leather through the Resolene. Kieran, thank you very much. Thank you, much appreciated. Got your comments coming through. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just only paint the Resolene on the actual leaf itself. I'm not even going to do the textured border around the outside. So I'm just literally going like that. Not a big thick coat because it does bead up a lot, sort of like a drip. So I'm taking the excess on the edge of the bottle. If I ended up with too much, I could always just wipe it away a little, so that Brendan Allen, long time no hear, sir. We need Edel. That's what we need. We need Edel. Okay, so there. Now, allowing down the vein of that leaf, if it did bead up, then it'll bead up in there. And onto the acorns. Love the last little bit. There we go. Also, I'll try and keep up with comments as I'm going by stopping and checking. But it might be a case if I put it on mute on the computer, I catch up with comments. So I might try that in a minute. So I'm just finishing up. Put another sort of half coat on those leaves. So that has now put a sort of weatherproof coating on the artwork, the relief of the artwork. But the rest of the sheath does not have that acrylic final top coat. So any time in the future you could put a natural wax on it, or you could put some feed into the leather. So that has now got that. Now a lot of people don't like the whole sheath like that. You didn't practical well. Okay, the whole sheath like that would give that artificial plastic sort of look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock the volume off and see if I can find myself Quite possibly. That'd be awesome. So I'm going to go content. Can I find myself live? This would be interesting. That's going to be finding myself. So as I don't want the whole sheath like that because you can't put anything into the leather. So while that's final drying, I seem to have found myself. All very technical and clever. Doesn't seem to want to turn on there. I'll leave that here. So what I'm going to do now is whilst that's drying off for a second or two, I'm going to do the rest of the. Don't seem to want to do it at all. Haha! I can see your comments. Awesome. Right. It's going to be a bit of a delay. I'll even thumbs up it myself. How about that? Right. So this lever now has had all the dye on it, the snaps put on it. I've slicked the edge, so that's all now smooth. So it's literally ready to get finished. So the Resolene gets his lid on and out of the way. What I used to put the sort of nutrients back into it is this product called Lexol. It's for bridle, not ladies bridle, but horses bridle products, leather, and it's a conditioner, but it's not neat's foot. Okay, I've shied away from neat's foot because the oxidation that happens over time, you can actually affect the pH. So that is just, we love to fish. Hey, one of your most prolific commenters. Thank you muchly, Mr. We Love to Fish, for dropping in. So sort of liberal amount on the lever, but you say if it gathers up in a sort of bead, you want to wipe it away and get it neat and tidy. So as it gathers up over the snaps, that you want to tidy up, if that makes sense. That's the top of the lever. Goes in quite happily. The back of the lever, which is your flesh side, it will really soak in, but that's an opportunity for you to get some feed into the lever. So you really go for it. Right, and that's now going into the back of the lever. Work it around the snaps to try and get it around as they've been sort of formed in. That really didn't go anywhere. That's how much soaks in. It's almost all gone. The lever really enjoys having stuff put back into it. The lever I'm getting, sometimes you can feel that because it's been tanned and worked and treated and everything, it feels almost parched, like it could really do with something in it. I don't use now neat's foot oil. I could even go like that, work it in. So this will supple up the lever, stabilize it to some degree. The particles in this seem to be finer as it is a sort of molecular level. So that whatever they've done, they've managed to make it so it invades the fibers of the leather, all the sort of crisscross things that's going on inside there of the cells of the leather, the fibers, but it doesn't migrate within it, if that makes sense. It goes in and stays there, as opposed to goes in and then slowly oozes out like an oil would do. It goes in and stays in. That's what the brand says happens with it. So once it's in, it's not like you could leave it on the side and then you come back in an hour or two and there's a pool of Lexol there. It doesn't end up pooling out. Quick buff on the top. It does give a very dull shine, but that's not the point of it. The point of it is to feed the leather. Okay, so that is the strap done with the Lexol. Put a little bit more in there. And the next stage, I'm still using Carnauba. What are we doing? There he is. Now that is Carnauba nut. It's a natural sort of hard wax, and it will give a shedding effect of dirt, grime, a protective top layer that you can buff. So now I'm working it into the leather. Again, I know it will go in the top quite happily, but it will really soak into the back. So I do that top one first. That'll have a chance to sort of dry whilst I'm really working into the back of it. So it's Carnauba cream. You can actually get Carnauba, different products, Carnauba wax. So that was the same sort of amount as what I used on almost the whole front. It's virtually gone. That's how much goes into the back. Try and keep my eye on the comments in case we get any questions. I was trialing omitting this stage and going straight to Renaissance wax, but what I found was the Renaissance wax final buff is a bit of a dull, not the most lustrous final polish. So to get the shine, I used a Carnauba cream, buffed that, and then the top protective coat is the Renaissance wax. Okay, so that now is the Carnauba cream, which you can buff. So now it's sort of dried, because I did this first. Won't get the best buff yet because it's only been on there a few minutes. It's gently coming up. So that's the Carnauba cream. Right, Renaissance wax. That lives in the back here. This is the museum grade microcrystalline. It's a petrochemical, I think it is. So think of like a very fine grade petroleum product, but it was formulated to not adversely affect virtually anything it's put on, if that makes sense. So museums have put it on picture frames, they put it on metal, put it on wood, put it on wax, put it on leather. So let's find one little bit. It's not this cloth, right? And it's just like sort of Vaseline look, but you don't need much. It goes on like a very soft candle wax. A bit of care. It's got a sort of candle waxy smell to it. But the difference between this and Carnauba, this dries, technically dries almost instantly. So I'm working it into the top, and already the shine is coming up a bit because now I've got Carnauba underneath that was sort of shined up, and now this goes on the top. Work it into the back. Again, this is a protective layer after the feed has gone in. Let's check the comments. working it in, working it in. It does get caught on the inside of the snaps. You sort of like go around in circles trying to gather it back up again. Have to let me know how loud or not this is, because I'm trying to throw my voice into the little phone. So as long as you can hear me, have an A-OK, or sort of it's sort of 3 out of 5 for volume, that'd be helpful if anybody can comment to give me an idea of how loud or not to shout. Okay, so that's in to the lever. It sort of stays on top. Apparently it dries instantly. I like to leave it a good minute or so before I finally buff. So there is a top finish that doesn't look like things have gathered up, that hasn't beaded up, it just looks so neat and tidy. It's really easy to use, and all we do then is buff it, and there we get a shine. Neat, and it's the evenness that I like for that Renaissance wax. It gives a nice dull satin sort of look to it. So that means all the metal has now got a coating, the lever's got a coating, the dyed sides, the slicked edges, it's all protected all the way around, so it should shed the weather and look after something that people have spent a lot of money on, and I've spent a lot of time making. So I'm going to go through it all again for this, now that the Resin has dried. So first coat will be again the Lexol. So I'll let you have a look at it in case you wanted to check on Amazon. Lexol leather tack conditioner. Obviously that's your horse bridles, straps and girths and things. There's another one that's like a different product with a different number, but this is called number 2, and it prolongs the life of the leather. Okay. Try to get into down in there first whilst you got the time. Feed it as much as you can. There are people who tan coat the inside, but if you were tan coating it to protect it with the work as a knife going in and out, leaves the top a little bit, and you can actually get some leather food in there. Of course, that is being the flesh side of the leather as it loops over to create your belt loop. This is the opportunity for you to get it into the leather as deep as you can, as much as you can. Now it's all stitched up. So that's the look you get with it in, and that's that sort of dry, arid, parched look, because the fore leather has gone through all the treatment of being tanned and all the weird things put into it. We're trying to set this leather up to have a long a life as possible. So we're going to feed it, and having wax on the outside, you can still get feed in. You can take the Renaissance wax back off by using like a white spirit. So if you put your leather or knife away with Renaissance wax on, let's say you're putting it away for the winter so you don't store the knife in the sheath, you can Renaissance wax it, put it in a drawer, one there, or a box or something on some acid-free tissue paper, and you should technically come back in the spring and it should be protected, stabilized, literally it's ready to go. And if you wanted to then, because you might be cutting food or things with it, you just take that off again, and then you go back to using a camellia oil or something if you're using food, sort of food safe products. Right, now we're working the Lexol into the leather all the way around. You're not going to get anywhere putting on the leaves because, if you remember, that's Resolene. Whilst you're there, you're trying to force it, ram it, poke it, pack it down inside the holes, because that is exposed leather all the way through. Yes, there's a lot of string and thread, linen, whatever the thread's made out of, but I'm literally working it into the stitching holes. So really impressed with the signal so far, hasn't dropped out. That is Lexol, and that's the back. It does bring a little bit of a shine. That's been Lexol, that hasn't. So it adds a tiny bit of colour initially, but when you feel the leather move, it feels happier with this in. It's not as stiff or rigid. Try and get it into the little loop as much as you can, and over the flesh side of the loop. And the other thing is, it hasn't got a nasty chemical spray, smell. So, Lexol. Nice, put that lid down. So there's what I'm using for Carnauba cream. There are other ones. There's a Phoebins one, but I went for this because the lid is bigger. The Phoebins one was it was that size. I got a neat's foot in it now, but the damn thing wasn't as stable, so I opted for that on the next time I bought Carnauba cream. Just because there's so many things there, it's just knocking over. That doesn't get knocked over as easy. Oh, sort of a bottle to get open. Trying to see myself with a bit of a delay. Like a weird look to it. Right, again, that's the first thing you do. Get it down there as deep as you possibly can. So that will strengthen, and it's sort of slicked the leather so that the knife will work in and out and gradually shine that up inside there. Well, thanks for sticking by, guys. Well, really impressed. Thank you for staying on. We've got 6 people here. So we got Brendan, Kieran, Tactical Al, we love to fish. Anybody else? That's the comment. So make sure you got 7 now. Lucky 7. Barry Sheen. Awesome. So working at Carnauba in. It's brought the colour out a little bit more, which I'm very happy about because I've backed off the colour on the leaves, so I've got more contrast now from the they just barely put any colour on those leaves, and then when I resisted it, I put a tiniest amount of extra colour only on the acorns. You can see the acorns are slightly darker. So now the Carnauba cream's going in. It's just bringing a little bit more chestnut out of the dye of the actual sheath itself. looks lovely now. And then the red, deep red, sets off the brass. Beautiful. Carnauba cream. Right, I'm going to let that, because that's a bigger area of Carnauba cream. I'm going to let that dry, put another coat on in about an hour's time. So I hope that's helped anybody, giving you some clues as to what I've done. Thank you, Bren. Thank you very much. So the order of events is you've done your leather. If you're going to dye it, you've dyed it. I haven't used neat foot at all, neat foot oil. The first thing in to feed the leather is to put in the Lexol conditioner. You can put it on, come back an hour later, put some more on. But for the sake of the video, thank you, Love to Fish. I've done that. Put some more in later. Alright, so I'm going to put some more in later, but that's the first stage. And then a Carnauba of some brand. I've got EcoFloat, you can use feed bins. And then a top protective coat is Renaissance wax, which you can buff up almost immediately. That's the beauty of that. So thanks for joining me. Any questions? I'll be around for the next few minutes. I'll let you get on for your evenings. What's it, 20 to 8 now? Very happy that the signal has maintained. Do let me know how the volume was. I'm projecting as much as possible, and I'm only about 10 inches away from the camera, so hopefully you've been able to hear everything. But thanks for sticking with me, everybody. We've had 7, 8 on most of the time, but yeah, thanks for dropping on. I can see myself backwards and forwards. Hopefully going to prepper meet. Yeah, I've even bought the guitar strings. Long story. Yes, prepper meet. I'm going to be trying to get some anything I can to sell, but it's mostly just to finally meet up with everybody after we missed last year with the Edale, and then blow me if I had 3 shocks to do on a Turan. That would be awesome, Brendan. Absolutely. Audio, radio, 5x5. That's great. Thank you. Love to let me know. But yeah, if I can catch up with you, Mr. Allen, that'd be amazing. Forever using it. It's great stuff. Okay. On the quiet. But yeah, that'd be great. Catch up with everybody at the prepper meet. Oh my goodness me. Wow. I don't want to say, man. Thank you to Tactical Owl. That wasn't the point of the live stream, bro. Greatly appreciated. Can't believe that. For those, sorry, Sandbox. For those who don't know, there's a facility for donations. I haven't mentioned it because I'm just testing this out. I don't know what to say. Thank you ever so much. Can't even begin to mention that. That's amazing. So everybody, thanks for joining in with the chat. I'm a little bit bowled over at the moment. Yeah, wow. Thank you to Tactical Owl for that. Catch up with everybody. I'm so glad that the audio's worked. Huge thanks to everybody who stayed on. Still got 6 now. I'm going to sign off now. Thanks again, Tactical Owl. And I'll catch up with you all at the prepper meet. Blown away. Absolutely blown away. Serious. Just as I say, my last year I'll tell you all about it around the campfire, what we've been through. It's not for YouTube what's happened, but that's gonna make a massive difference. Thank you. Okay, signing out. Scott, Wessex Blades. Thank you for joining me, and I'll try and do this again. It seems to have worked okay with the audio. What a night. Scott Wessex Blades out. Thank you.